day. Your people will be my people, and your God my God. Ruth 1:16. Demonstrate deep loyalty and faith. Key themes include 1. Covenant faithfulness. Ruth's loyalty to Naomi mirrors the faithfulness God calls his people to. 2. Redemption. Boaz, the kinsman redeemer, foreshadows Jesus Christ as the ultimate redeemer. 3. Divine providence. Though God is not explicitly performing miracles, his hand is seen in guiding events toward a redemptive outcome. 4. Inclusivity in God's plan. Ruth, a foreigner, becomes an ancestor of King David and ultimately Jesus Christ, illustrating God's embrace of all who seek him. What is the relevance of the book of Ruth for us in these end times? In a world experiencing moral decline, uncertainty, and hardship, often associated with the end times, the book of Ruth offers powerful encouragement. 1. Hope amidst hardship. I don't know what kind of hardship you are all experiencing right now, but Ruth and Naomi suffered loss and uncertainty, yet God provided for them. This mirrors how we can trust God today despite global turmoil. 2. God's faithfulness to his people. The story shows that God does not abandon his people, even in difficult times. So I want you to look at yourself and whatever it is that has taken away your peace, and know with confidence that God is faithful and he sees you. 3. The importance of righteous living. Boaz exemplifies integrity and godliness, traits needed today as the world grows increasingly corrupt. Let us answer the call to live righteous lives. Remember, we don't know the hour nor the time for the role of Gentiles in God's plan. Just as Ruth was grafted into God's people, many see a parallel with the Gentile church being part of God's salvation plan in the last days. Be inspired by Ruth today to trust God's providence even in difficult seasons. Learn from Ruth and demonstrate faithfulness in your relationships and commitments. Seek redemption through Christ as Boaz redeemed Ruth. Embrace all people, recognizing that God's love extends beyond cultural and national boundaries. As you listen to the audio of the book of Ruth today, remember to have hope, remember God's unfailing love and sovereignty, even in what some perceive as the end times. The book of Ruth. It encourages faithfulness, righteousness, and trust in the Redeemer, Jesus Christ. Embrace the word. Ruth chapter 1. Naomi loses her husband and sons. In the days when the judges ruled, there was a famine in the land. So a man from Bethlehem in Judah, together with his wife and 2 sons, went to live for a while in the country of Moab. The man's name was Elimelech, his wife's name was Naomi, and the names of his 2 sons were Mahlon and Chilion. They were Ephrathites from Bethlehem, Judah, and they went to Moab and lived there. Now Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left with her 2 sons. They married Moabite women, one named Orpah and the other Ruth. After they had lived there about 10 years, both Mahlon and Chilion also died, and Naomi was left without her 2 sons and her husband. Naomi and Ruth returned to Bethlehem. When Naomi heard in Moab that the Lord had come to the aid of his people by providing food for them, she and her daughters-in-law prepared to return home from there. With her 2 daughters-in-law, she left the place where she had been living and set out on the road that would take them back to the land of Judah. Then Naomi said to her 2 daughters-in-law, "Go back, each of you, to your mother's home. May the Lord show you kindness, as you have shown kindness to your dead husbands and to me. May the Lord grant that each of you will find rest in the home of another husband." Then she kissed them goodbye, and they wept aloud and said to her, "We will go back with you to your people." But Naomi said, "Return home, my daughters. Why would you come with me? Am I going to have any more sons who could become your husbands? Return home, my daughters. I am too old to have another husband. Even if I thought there was still hope for me, even if I had a husband tonight and then gave birth to sons, would you wait until they grew up? Would you remain unmarried for them? No, my daughters. It is more bitter for me than for you, because the Lord's hand has turned against me." At this they wept aloud again. Then Orpah kissed her mother-in-law goodbye, but Ruth clung to her. "Look," said Naomi, "your sister-in-law is going back to her people and her gods. Go back with her." But Ruth replied, "Don't urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go, I will go. and where you stay I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God my God. Where you die I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord deal with me, be it ever so severely, if even death separates you and me." When Naomi realized that Ruth was determined to go with her, she stopped urging her. So the two women went on until they came to Bethlehem. When they arrived in Bethlehem, the whole town was stirred because of them, and the women exclaimed, "Can this be Naomi?" "Don't call me Naomi," she told them. "Call me Mara, because the Almighty has made my life very bitter. I went away full, but the Lord has brought me back empty. Why call me Naomi? The Lord has afflicted me. The Almighty has brought misfortune upon me." So Naomi returned from Moab, accompanied by Ruth the Moabite, her daughter-in-law, arriving in Bethlehem as the barley harvest was beginning. Ruth chapter 2. Ruth meets Boaz in the grain field. Now Naomi had a relative on her husband's side, a man of standing from the clan of Elimelech, whose name was Boaz. And Ruth the Moabite said to Naomi, "Let me go to the fields and pick up the leftover grain behind anyone in whose eyes I find favor." Naomi said to her, "Go ahead, my daughter." So she went out, entered a field, and began to glean behind the harvesters. As it turned out, she was working in a field belonging to Boaz, who was from the clan of Elimelech. Just then Boaz arrived from Bethlehem and greeted the harvesters. "The Lord be with you." "The Lord bless you," they answered. Boaz asked the overseer of his harvesters, "Who does that young woman belong to?" The overseer replied, "She is the Moabite who came back from Moab with Naomi." She said, "Please let me glean and gather among the sheaves behind the harvesters." She came into the field and has remained here from morning till now, except for a short rest in the shelter. So Boaz said to Ruth, "My daughter, listen to me. Don't go and glean in another field, and don't go away from here. Stay here with the women who work for me. Watch the field where the men are harvesting, and follow along after the women. I have told the men not to lay a hand on you, and whenever you are thirsty, go and get a drink from the water jars the men have filled." At this, she bowed down with her face to the ground. She asked him, "Why have I found such favor in your eyes that you notice me, a foreigner?" Boaz replied, "I've been told all about what you have done for your mother-in-law since the death of your husband, how you left your father and mother and your homeland and came to live with a people you did not know before. May the Lord repay you for what you have done. May you be richly rewarded by the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge. May I continue to find favor in your eyes, my Lord," she said. "You have put me at ease by speaking kindly to your servant, though I do not have the standing of one of your servants." At mealtime, Boaz said to her, "Come over here, have some bread and dip it in the wine vinegar." When she sat down with the harvesters, he offered her some roasted grain. She ate all she wanted and had some left over. As she got up to glean, Boaz gave orders to his men. "Let her gather among the sheaves and don't reprimand her. Even pull out some stalks for her from the bundles and leave them for her to pick up, and don't rebuke her." So Ruth gleaned in the field until evening. Then she threshed the barley she had gathered, and it amounted to about an ephah. She carried it back to town, and her mother-in-law saw how much she had gathered. Ruth also brought out and gave her what she had left over after she had eaten enough. Her mother-in-law asked her, "Where did you glean today? Where did you work? Blessed be the man who took notice of you." Then Ruth told her mother-in-law about the one at whose place she had been working. "The name of the man I worked with today is Boaz," she said. "The Lord bless him," Naomi said to her daughter-in-law. "He has not stopped showing his kindness to the living and the dead." She added, "That man is our close relative. He is one of our guardian redeemers." Then Ruth the Moabite said, "He even said to me, 'Stay with my workers until they finish harvesting all my grain.'" Naomi said to Ruth, her daughter-in-law, "It will be good for you, my daughter, to go with the women who work for him, because in someone else's field you might be harmed." So Ruth stayed close to the women of Boaz to glean until the barley and wheat harvests were finished, and she lived with her mother-in-law. Ruth chapter 3. Ruth and Boaz at the threshing floor. One day Ruth's mother-in-law Naomi said to her, "My daughter, I must find a home for you, where you will be well provided for. Now Boaz, with whose women you have worked, is a relative of ours. Tonight he will be winnowing barley on the threshing floor. Wash, put on perfume, and get dressed in your best clothes. Then go down to the threshing floor, but don't let him know you are there until he has finished eating and drinking. When he lies down, note the place where he is lying. Then go and uncover his feet and lie down. He will tell you what to do. I will do whatever you say, Ruth answered. So she went down to the threshing floor and did everything her mother-in-law told her to do. When Boaz had finished eating and drinking and was in good spirits, he went over to lie down at the far end of the grain pile. Ruth approached quietly, uncovered his feet, and lay down. In the middle of the night, something startled the man. He turned, and there was a woman lying at his feet. "Who are you?" he asked. "I am your servant Ruth," she said. "Spread the corner of your garment over me, since you are a guardian redeemer of our family." "The Lord bless you, my daughter," he replied. "This kindness is greater than that which you showed earlier. You have not run after the younger men, whether rich or poor. And now, my daughter, don't be afraid. I will do for you all you ask. All the people of my town know that you are a woman of noble character. Although it is true that I am a guardian redeemer of our family, there is another who is more closely related than I. Stay here for the night, and in the morning, if he wants to do his duty as your guardian redeemer, good. Let him redeem you. But if he is not willing, as surely as the Lord lives, I will do it. Lie here until morning." So she lay at his feet until morning, but got up before anyone could be recognized. And he said, "No one must know that a woman came to the threshing floor." He also said, "Bring me the shawl you are wearing and hold it out." When she did so, he poured into it 6 measures of barley and placed the bundle on her. Then he went back to town. When Ruth came to her mother-in-law, Naomi asked, "How did it go, my daughter?" Then she told her everything Boaz had done for her and added, "He gave me these 6 measures of barley, saying, 'Don't go back to your mother-in-law empty-handed.'" Then Naomi said, "Wait, my daughter, until you find out what happens, for the man will not rest until the matter is settled today." Ruth chapter 4, Boaz marries. Meanwhile, Boaz went up to the town gate and sat down there, just as the guardian redeemer he had mentioned came along. Boaz said, "Come over here, my friend, and sit down." So he went over and sat down. Boaz took 10 of the elders of the town and said, "Sit here," and they did so. Then he said to the guardian redeemer, "Naomi, who has come back from Moab, is selling the piece of land that belonged to our relative Elimelech. I thought I should bring the matter to your attention and suggest that you buy it in the presence of these seated here and in the presence of the elders of my people. If you will redeem it, do so, but if you will not, tell me, so I will know. For no one has the right to do it except you, and I am next in line." "I will redeem it," he said. Then Boaz said, "On the day you buy the land from Naomi, you also acquire Ruth the Moabite, the dead man's widow, in order to maintain the name of the dead with his property." At this the guardian redeemer said, "Then I cannot redeem it, because I might endanger my own estate. You redeem it yourself. I cannot do it." Now in earlier times in Israel, for the redemption and transfer of property to become final, one party took off his sandal and gave it to the other. This was the method of legalizing transactions in Israel. So the guardian redeemer said to Boaz, "Buy it yourself." And he removed his sandal. Then Boaz announced to the elders and all the people, "Today you are witnesses that I have bought from Naomi all the property of Elimelech, Chilion, and Mahlon. I have also acquired Ruth the Moabite, Mahlon's widow, as my wife, in order to maintain the name of the dead with his property, so that his name will not disappear from among his family or from his hometown. Today you are witnesses." Then the elders and all the people at the gate said, "We are witnesses. May the Lord make the woman who is coming into your home like Rachel and Leah, who together built up the family of Israel. May you have standing in Ephrathah and be famous in Bethlehem. Through the offspring the Lord gives you by this young woman, may your family be like that of Perez, whom Tamar bore to Judah. Naomi gains a son." So Boaz took Ruth, and she became his wife. When he made love to her, the Lord enabled her to conceive, and she gave birth to a son. The women said to Naomi, "Praise be to the Lord, who this day has not left you without a guardian redeemer. May he become famous throughout Israel. He will renew your life and sustain you in your old age. For your daughter-in-law, who loves you and who is better to you than 7 sons, has given him birth." Then Naomi took the child in her arms and cared for him. The women living there said, "Naomi has a son," and they named him Obed. He was the father of Jesse, the father of David, the genealogy of David. This then is the family line of Perez. Perez was the father of Hezron, Hezron the father of Ram, Ram the father of Amminadab, Amminadab the father of Nahshon, Nahshon the father of Salmon, Salmon the father of Boaz, Boaz the father of Obed, Obed the father of Jesse, and Jesse the father of David. The power of storytelling in Christian cinema is a compelling concept that highlights how narratives serve as potent tools for conveying spiritual messages and life lessons. Essentially, storytelling in this context is the art of crafting narratives that embody Christian values, teachings, and experiences, allowing viewers to engage with and internalize these lessons through the medium of film. It's not just about entertainment, but about offering a vehicle for reflection, inspiration, and transformation. This point is pivotal in exploring unexpected life lessons from top Christian movies because the storytelling aspect makes these lessons accessible and relatable. Christian films often weave doctrinal teachings into their narratives, thereby providing a mirror for self-examination. They create a shared experience that resonates emotionally with audiences, drawing them into a deeper understanding of faith-related themes. For instance, the movie The Shack offers a profound narrative about forgiveness and the nature of God's love, inviting viewers to contemplate their own beliefs about suffering and healing. Another example is I Can Only Imagine, which tells the real-life story of Bart Millard and beautifully depicts themes of redemption and the transformative power of forgiveness. Both films use storytelling to connect viewers with complex theological concepts through the lived experiences of the characters. Opinions supporting the power of storytelling in Christian cinema suggest that it makes abstract ideas more tangible. Renowned film critics often highlight how well-told stories have a unique ability to foster empathy and understanding, enabling audiences to engage with ideas they might otherwise overlook. However, one challenge associated with Christian storytelling in cinema is the potential for preachiness, where films can sometimes prioritize message over narrative quality, alienating audiences who seek more nuanced storytelling. Critics argue that focusing too much on a didactic approach can result in contrived plots that fail to engage viewers genuinely. Despite these challenges, the power of storytelling in Christian movies influences other aspects of the main topic by shaping how life lessons are perceived and internalized by viewers. The narrative form allows these lessons to be interwoven with broader cultural and existential questions, encouraging discussions and reflections that extend beyond the film itself. By engaging with these cinematic stories, audiences are not merely passive recipients. They become active participants in a dialogue that explores faith, morality, and the human condition, enriching their own spiritual journeys. The heading addresses a key insight derived from an examination of Christian movies, which often serve as potent mediums for imparting unexpected life lessons. At its core, the concept refers to the moral and philosophical teachings embedded in narratives that might not be immediately apparent, but have profound implications on viewers. These lessons often manifest in themes of forgiveness, redemption, hope, and resilience, transcending beyond religious contexts to offer universal values applicable to various aspects of life. The significance of this point is underscored by the ability of Christian movies to reach diverse audiences and relay impactful messages that resonate on both personal and communal levels. While they are primarily entertainment products, these films often challenge viewers to reflect on their own lives and consider adopting positive behavioral changes, fostering empathy and understanding. An illustration of such a lesson can be found in films like The Shack, which surprises audiences by delving deeply into themes of forgiveness and healing. The protagonist's journey through immense personal grief leads to an encounter with divine figures, ultimately learning to forgive and find peace. Another powerful example is War Room, showcasing the transformative power of prayer and faith in resolving marital conflicts and personal tribulations. Both films convey unexpected lessons that reality often mirrors, the necessity of healing past wounds and relying on faith as a source of strength. Support for these ideas comes from critics and audiences who praise these films for their ability to address complex moral dilemmas with nuance and relatability. They argue that while these narratives are grounded in Christian doctrine, their appeal is universal, offering insights regardless of one's religious affiliation. However, there are challenges and controversies regarding these films due to their religious tones, which some viewers may find polarizing or dogmatic. Critics also point out the risk of oversimplifying complex life issues or presenting religion as the sole solution to challenges, which might alienate non-Christian audiences. This point intertwines with other aspects of the main topic, such as the role of media in shaping cultural values and beliefs. The lessons gleaned from Christian movies can influence societal norms and individual behaviors, highlighting the potential of films as powerful educational tools. By exploring unexpected life lessons, these movies not only enrich viewers' understanding of Christian values, but also contribute to broader dialogues around compassion, resilience, and human interconnectedness. Redefining Faith Through Unseen Trials delves into the nuanced understanding of faith that emerges when individuals face hidden or internal challenges. In the context of Christian movies, faith is portrayed not just as a belief in the divine, but as an evolving journey shaped profoundly by struggles that are not immediately visible to others. This concept emphasizes that faith often grows stronger and becomes more personal and transformative when believers face trials that test their inner resolve and convictions. The significance of this idea lies in its ability to resonate with audiences who may be going through their own unseen trials. It presents faith as a dynamic rather than static attribute, highlighting that real growth often occurs under pressure. The essence of Christian teachings in films often revolves around personal growth and spiritual development, making this point a core aspect of transformative storytelling. One poignant example can be seen in the movie The Shack, where the protagonist grapples with his internal struggles following a family tragedy. His journey of faith involves confronting inner doubts and reconciling his pain with his beliefs. Another example is I Can Only Imagine, which depicts the lead character wrestling with his past and finding faith's true meaning as he navigates unresolved issues from childhood. In both cases, the movies illustrate how trials that are deeply personal and often private can redefine one's faith in a profound way. Supporters of this idea argue that the unseen trials in one's life act as catalysts for authentic faith development, urging believers to move beyond a superficial understanding of faith to embrace a more intimate and enduring relationship with the divine. However, this concept can be controversial as it challenges the notion that faith should equate to a straightforward, trouble-free existence. Critics may argue that focusing on unseen trials could overlook the communal and outward expressions of faith that are equally important. This concept interconnects with other aspects of life lessons in Christian movies by emphasizing the theme of personal transformation and perseverance. It reflects the teachings of endurance and hope that often underpin the broader narratives within these films. By redefining faith through unseen trials, these movies offer audiences the hope and encouragement that personal struggles, though hidden, can lead to profound spiritual growth and deeper faith. One unexpected life lesson often depicted in top Christian movies is the transformative power of forgiveness. Forgiveness, in its purest form, is the act of intentionally letting go of resentment or vengeance towards someone who has caused harm. This concept is pivotal in both Christian teachings and storytelling, as it embodies the principles of redemption and grace. In the context of Christian cinema, forgiveness transcends personal grievances and becomes a vehicle for profound change and healing, teaching audiences the value of compassion over retribution. The significance of forgiveness in this genre lies in its ability to illustrate the profound peace and freedom that comes from releasing grudges and embracing reconciliation. Top Christian movies frequently depict characters grappling with past hurts, showcasing how forgiveness not only liberates the forgiver, but also has the power to transform relationships and communities. This narrative serves as a reminder of the biblical tenet that emphasizes forgiving others as one has been forgiven, a cornerstone of Christian faith. One compelling example of this lesson is found in the film The Shack, where the protagonist, Mac, encounters God and confronts the devastating sorrow of losing his daughter. Through a spiritual journey, he learns to forgive the perpetrator, which ultimately leads to his emotional healing and a renewed understanding of divine love. Another example is the movie Amish Grace, which is based on true events. After a tragic school shooting in an Amish community, the families affected choose to forgive the shooter, demonstrating an astounding capacity for grace and compassion that moved the nation. Several opinions support the notion that forgiveness is not merely an act of kindness, but a powerful tool for personal and social transformation. Many psychologists and theologians agree that forgiveness can lead to a reduction in anxiety, depression, and stress, promoting overall health and well-being. However, forgiving does not always come easily, and many struggle with this concept, especially in the face of egregious acts. Critics may argue that the depiction of forgiveness in films can oversimplify its complexity or seem to dismiss the need for justice. Such challenges highlight the delicate balance between forgiveness and accountability. Within the broader context of top Christian movies, the theme of forgiveness often interweaves with themes of hope, love, and redemption, reinforcing a narrative that invites viewers to reflect on their own lives and relationships. By showcasing forgiveness as a catalyst for personal transformation, these films encourage audiences to consider how letting go of anger and embracing compassion can profoundly impact